I know it's been a while, but now I'm right on the mood to give a little bit of a bite-sized vlog on the latest movie that I've been doing. Okay, I know that it's been kind of so long that I made a vlog, but it is mostly out of personal reasons. Not very big. I was just kind of busy with visitors, let's say, and I had going movie in, movie out, and all this stuff. I'm not gonna give so much detail, but it's mostly kind of like personal stuff that it kind of impede me to go. I even go to enjoy some movies out of itself. There's some other reasons, of course, but again, not gonna go into details. And I know that the last movie I saw really put me in the mood, of course, and a not very good mood. Of course, I'm talking about the Lilo and Stitch remake. The more I begin to think about it, it gets worse and worse. So much that I even watched the original after that, and the original still holds up, by the way. But so I. I did miss out on what was it, Karate Kid Legends. I know that I should have gone because I love Jackie Chan. He's my favorite actor. There are exceptions, of course, to the rule. Like, for example, I really despise him. I really don't like him on Kung Fu Panda, and also the Kung Fu Kid with Jaden Smith. Yes, I said Kung Fu Kid. I refuse to call it Karate Kid. I don't know how it went, but then I was about to miss the second week when they had Ballerina, and also there's kind of like this horror movie that I've been hearing good things about it. I am actually kind of like a little bit in the balance until I decided to go to the. I decided to go to the movies, and I was kind of like making a coin toss between Karate Kid Legends and of course from the world of John Wick, Ballerina, and of course Ballerina won because I was feeling for something that I didn't need to think too much. I was kind of like in that kind of mood, and well, as a guy who actually saw all the John Wick movies, I gotta say that this one might not be the strongest ones of all the John Wick movies, but I was kind of just enjoying the spectacle. It was popcorny enough. It has its flaws, especially in the storytelling, but still, I don't think that was kind of like the major thing. I just watch it out, kind of like a spinoff of John Wick, and you got what you get. It's a popcorn flick in which they derail a lot of things that things that they can do. It kind of turns itself kind of like an anime film, and well, but I also been hearing that this movie had a lot of post production reshoots, and also I heard rumors that they say that this movie wasn't supposed to be in the universe of John Wick. It wanted to be its own separate movie. But apparently, because the people involved from the John Wick movie, they decided, okay, let's insert this story into kind of like a side story for John Wick. And well, this is what we got. The story mostly centers on this woman named Eva. She saw her father getting killed by this group of assassins, and then she's picked up by this other group of assassins. What was it? The Russian runoffs or something like that. Hear me out. Some of the I draw a blank of most of the John Wick mythos because it's been a long time I have seen those movies. So she kind of becomes a little bit like Black Widow in a way. She gets picked up by this group of assassins, in which she practiced ballet, and she also learned how to defend herself using her strength. And then she gets a tip about her father's killers, and then it turns kind of like a revenge in which she has to go on her own quest, and of course breaking some of the Assassin's League group in order to fulfill her quest for revenge. And yeah, John Wick is there, Keanu Reeves is there, and he's just there. He's kind of like part of the story, in which the movie itself says that it takes place between after chapter 2 and during chapter 3, in which in a way it kind of falls flat a little bit into that, because it kind of shows that it's still John Wick is still a part of that league, although in my head it was like, hey, doesn't chapter 3 John Wick is supposed to be on the run? So that's kind of like one of the flaws that they have, and well, also storytelling. The plot is simple that you can follow here and there, but sometimes they wanted to shoehorn in, like for example, the middle of the antagonist group, in which there's kind of like this also League of Assassins, but at the same time they're kind of like more. They don't follow the rules, because in the world of John Wick, these assassins, they follow a particular code of honor and rules, but not these guys who they're cold. They have their own village, and even they have X tattoos on their arms and something like that. Also, it doesn't follow too much into that, and also there's kind of like a sister subplot that could easily be removed and nothing changed, and of course we got the whole the whole thing with that. If they could, it also had to do. It also wanted to make the character a little bit more. How can I say? More virtuous. They had to make her, that she must save a child, because these group technically kidnap children in order to recruit them. Although the more I think of it, this kind of feels a little bit like that awful Black Widow movie, but at least for the benefit of the doubt, at least it doesn't hammer it into your head, and Ballerina actually makes a million times better job compared to Black Widow. Because also the acting is really good. The actress? The name escapes me. She's actually pretty good. She does what she do on her role. There are some actors that they kind of phone in, but also it feels it feels nice to see Keanu Reeves reprising his role as John Wick for the few moments that he's there, and also it feels kind of like charming to see the last couple of filming minutes of Lance Reddick. Lance Reddick was also a very charming guy during those movies, so I really love it. So this is why I decided to make kind of like a bite size. There's not exactly much to say, although I will say that the action scenes, they can be ridiculous, but at the same time, they're kind of like satisfying. You're just there kind of like for the ridiculousness. I just kind of also, people still complain that it became a little bit too over the top ever since chapter 3 and 4 and all this stuff. But that doesn't bother me, because, well, I got used to anime. Anime can't even go over the top, in which one guy can defeat an army of 50 people, and even in just like anime, sometimes it gets grounded and then it gets progressively wackier and more over the top. I'm used to it. And yeah, this one also kind of do that, in which sometimes even the henchmen kind of do. They don't do, like, for example, you take the shot, and they never do it, and sometimes you kind of get kind of like over the top scenes. And I know that a lot of people will be talking about the biggest one, which is basically a battle with flamethrowers. I think that's kind of like the biggest highlight of this movie, is the flamethrower battle, because there's not every day that you see kind of like two contenders going against flamethrower, and there's kind of like a water versus fire moment that it shouldn't happen in real life, but I was like, okay, I buy it. I buy it. So I will say that, yeah, story-wise, it's not the strongest, although it feels fine. I feel kind of like fine to just revisiting it. It has flaws, but it was kind of like just some mindless popcorn entertainment. It's for you. That is for you. I did have kind of like a little bit of a fun time, and it felt good to see just something to scramble my mind. Although, yeah, I think that I'm satisfied with the John Wick movies. Although I still think that. I still think that they're working on John Wick comes out of the grave. No, I'm serious. I think they're working on that. That's when you think things can go more over the top.